In this video, I'm going to discuss about converting your passion into business. One of the questions that a lot of people about the age of 50 ask me that they've never been an entrepreneur. And how do you build this entrepreneurial mindset and skills? And one of the things that I tell everyone is that it is almost like learning to cycle. Like when you are cycling, right? You cannot be taught here. You can read all the books that you want to. You can watch all the videos that you want to, but unless you don't sit on a cycle, or you don't get up on a cycle, and you don't start riding that cycle, and you may fall a couple of times, you are not going to learn balance. It's the very same thing with this entrepreneurial skills or any new skill that you're trying to build. Unless you get out there and do it, unless you just are out there and sit on that cycle, you're not going to learn balance. Unless you're going to go out there and try out building that entrepreneurial muscle, you're just not going to be able to do it, right? So though I'm going to give you some guidance, some tips, some suggestions out here, how do you convert your, and today's topic that I'm picking up is how do you convert your passion, the whatever that passion, how did I do it? And I'm going to share that with you. So what is my passion? Right from my childhood, I loved stories. I love to live in the world of fantasies, and this came from my father. My father's house was filled with books. There were more books than there was room in the house. Every cupboard that he would go would be filled with books. And that's the very same habit that he inculcated in me. He would get me the comics books. He would get me what was called as the Amar Chitra Kathas. He would get me mythological stories as I grew up. It was the Hardy Boys, living in that world of fantasy. So always it was about storytelling that was always there. I was a topper in history. And simple, why was I the topper? Because it's got two words, his story. It's all about a story. I could actually travel back in time and live that place and live that moment in history. So this is how I would understand history. I would actually go into that time and place and start living those moments as if they are real. So this was some of the things that were happening. And then in my school, I also discovered my love for stage, to stand up in front of an audience and to share my ideas. And I would do that through elocutions and debates. I would love to get there on the stage and share. Most people would get scared, and here I was, would enjoy that moment in that spotlight. I would really come alive. So what I would tell anyone is, just look at the energy that is there inside you. What is that energy? There's always one thing that will tell you, how do you feel inside? That is the energy. That energy, when I remember when the lights went out, I am on stage and there are more than 500,000 children in that audience, and I would come most alive. That energy was something to be experienced. And that's the same thing that happened when I went on and did my career. In the future, when I went on into marketing as a product executive, and I had to create products, I had to design things, I had to enroll people into that idea. I used to love that process. And when I was leading teams and when I had to enroll the teams into the idea, I would love that and enjoy that process. So whether it was internal teams or whether it was customers, I was enjoying this art now from that, what I loved in the school and to what I did later on the stage, I was now doing with a larger audience. The common thread was storytelling, the ability to pull people into a story. And I would love that. So energy is very high. And when do I know that this is not for me? It's very simple. One of the first jobs that I picked up was in accounts. And within 1 month, I left that job because the energy just did not sit with me. I couldn't sit with books and look at numbers. That was just not me. And one of the big mistakes that I did after college was I went and joined the science stream because everybody was joining the science stream. So I also went and said, because all the toppers are joining the science streams, I should also, and I was amongst the top 5, top 10 in the class always. So I went and joined the science stream. And I realized within the first year that science is not for me. And I failed and I flunked in my first year in the 11th standard for the very first time in my career. It was a great lesson for me that this is not the energy that sits with me. Neither did that energy of science sit with me. Neither did that energy of, the ability to, write, look at the books of accounts sit with me. But what really sits with me is the ability to enroll people into an idea, the ability to story tell, the ability to have that empathy of storytelling. I started leading sales teams. I would, from working with a few salespeople and turning around business, I was coaching and training because of my success. I was coaching and hundreds of salespeople. I had built a sales program at that point of time where I would take them through that process because I had understood this art of how do you tell a story, how do you enroll people, how do you enroll your customers and audiences into that story. And I went on to do that with brands, with organizations, with non-profits. That's exactly what I kept on doing. So when I got into my 50s and when I had to reframe and reinvent my career, I just opened up the windows. I opened up the ceiling that was there, that which was there, that told me that this is what I do for one company. I started doing it for many companies. So first, from starting my own, getting into co-founding a startup, where again I had to learn completely something new and do it. But the thing is, that constant that stayed was that ability to tell a story, that love to tell a story, that love to enroll an audience. Now here I was building a platform as a co-founder of a startup to enroll hundreds and thousands of merchants on the platform so that they could, this was the time when the UPI was just launched, and we had built this platform on top of that, which allowed them to build up their e-commerce site in no time and to start just from clicking the picture. In fact, one of our taglines would be just click and sell. That was how simple it was. Just click a picture, send it out, and sell the product and get the money straight into your bank account through the UPI, which had just been launched. So this was again enrolling an audience into a story. I was solving a real problem for them. I was doing storytelling out here. And when I went on to later on to look at my career and started multiple businesses, it's the very same thing. I was enrolling people into stories. When I started building these communities, which I built around wellness, about aging well, about healthy habits, when I built this community around storytelling, and this second act which I'm running out right now is exactly what I love to do. This is extension of who I am. So what would I want each one of us to look at? If you have to ask me, how do I become? You don't have to go very far. You have to look at your energy. And it doesn't mean one thing. It could be multiple things that you love to do, right? Whatever, when you come the most alive. The only question, one simple question is, when I do this, do I come the most alive? So people say there's a whole conflict about whether I should work so many hours a week, or somebody says work 70 hours, somebody says 20 hours. The time is not the point. The point is, are you alive? Are you feeling alive? What is the energy when whatever you're doing? The real question to ask, and all these leaders are missing the point. The real question that people and the youngsters have to ask, and literally everybody has to ask, is, are you alive? Do you feel most alive doing something? And when do you feel most alive? It's very simple. Go back and look at it. Like for me, it is very simple, that standing up on stage and sharing that story. Go back to the time. I remember that moment, and it really, makes me alive. When I'm working with a business idea, when I'm sharing this on this particular podcast right now, I'm most alive. I love this. This is what I love to do. What do you love to do? It's and it's energy. You feel it in your body. You will feel this. And when you are able to do this, the second question that you have to ask, and that would be, when I take this skill of mine, this something which I love to do, where my energy is at the highest, is this, how can I solve a problem for somebody out there with this energy that I have been given? Each one of us, I believe, has been given a unique gift. Each one of us has a kind of a unique thumbprint that we bring into this world. The problem is, we don't share our gifts. We keep it to ourselves. We just have got constricted to say what everybody is doing is what I should be doing, what the crowd is doing is what I should be doing. I have seen people going into streams like my own family. If I look at it, my son chose up fashion photography when all his friends were doing MBA and they were getting into businesses, earning multiple times than what when he started off. But today when I look back, he can be working at any time in the day and he feels as energetic whether he gets out 7 o'clock, comes back at 9 o'clock, 12 o'clock in the night. He's energetic. There is no, thank God it is Friday for him, because he enjoys his weekends. He enjoys, because what he enjoys is doing that work. He really loves to, and it can keep on changing with time, right? It's not necessary that what you that energy in your 20s might be the same when you're in your 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s. There might be something else. The 60s might be a time when you want to, that energy comes to you from sharing with somebody, giving your gifts to the society, to the community, to the people. And it's not always about money. Money, if you go without an agenda and when you share with love, I have experienced it. This is my personal experience. I don't know about others, but personally my experience is when I'm sharing my best gifts, I am taken care of. This might look like a very foolish idea. It might look like, something which I'm just saying, but the fact is I've experienced this. I don't share with an agenda. I don't try to, even when I'm in sales situation. I have never actually sold. I don't go with an agenda into it unless I'm not able to contribute something. I'm not looking at money. That's not sitting in front of my mind. What is sitting in front of my mind is, first, does this make me come most alive? Do I really align with this idea? So with the clients that I work with, the people that I work with, the first question that I will always have is this group, this team, this business, this idea, does it make me come alive or does it sap my energy? You experience it, right? When you're sitting in an organization where you're constantly being bombarded with stress, anxiety, all those things, you are not able to give your best to that. You're only surviving, holding the straws. And that's not the best energy to be able to give your best to the world. The best energy that you can give the world is when you are able to give what you have within you outside so freely without an agenda. And let me tell you, once you do that, once you add value to somebody, you will be, the universe does take care of it, that you get paid back. There is enough demand for you. So people will say, okay, but artificial intelligence is coming in, a lot of jobs are going to go. This is old time thinking that, so whatever happens, perhaps we will have more time on our hands to live what we want to do. Our life was not meant to possibly be just, 9 to 5. It was a construct of the last 100, 200 years. Perhaps that has to change. And perhaps we have to go back to, understanding the very essence of why we exist. And that might actually be good for us. So whatever happens, the one thing that is always going to remember is what gives you energy is something that you will experience in yourself. And I believe each one of us is given something unique, some unique gift which is there, which we need to connect with. And that's what we need to share more with the world. The lesser we do that, the more we fall back. The more we are connected to our energy, and our energies can change with anything. The one question that you ask yourself is, how do I feel? Am I feeling the most alive doing what I am doing? And every day of your life that you struggle with this question and that you're not able to answer this question, that the only reason why you're doing stuff that you're doing is to survive, just to earn that paycheck, you're actually missing out in your life, because the time of your life is limited. The time that we have in this world is limited. We are all mortal. And there is a particular age till when you can do this kind of, stuff that is inside of you, contributing this best of your energy. So the faster you connect to this, the very simple idea that I'm leaving with you, what makes you come most alive? Keep on asking this question at different stages of your life, and your answers might change, and they might be different for different people. For somebody, it might just be to travel the world. For somebody, it might be just to meet people. For somebody, it might be just like me, I have to be a storyteller to enroll people into ideas. For somebody else, it might mean completely something else, to create something. So for each person, that idea could be very different. Somebody might be absolutely enjoying the process of creating food, a chef, a home chef. Somebody likes to work on something which is more creative. Whatever that is for you, what makes you come most alive? And there are times this might change. One question that doesn't change is, what makes you come the most alive? Keep asking this question again and again and again. How did you like this video? How did you like these thoughts? Please do share, because they encourage me to share with you, and share your ideas as to what would you want me to share in the series. The second act, do subscribe to my channel. I'm not just saying this, subscribe, because it helps me to grow. And when this grows, the ideas will spread. The same storyteller in me comes alive, and things spread to a lot many more people. Thank you. I hope you have enjoyed this video.